What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ready Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and tonight I am joined with my good friends Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. Before I throw it over to these guys, if you're tuning in on Twitter, head over to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join from there so we can see and interact with your comments. We're not ignoring you if you're commenting on Twitter. We just can't see you. Go to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Comment from there. Matt, I'm going to throw it over to you. How you doing?
Well, I mean, the baseball is a little tough for me today. Also, did I just get downgraded? I used to be the show co-host. Now I'm just a friend. Oof.
I said good friends, but yeah, my co-host Matt Llewellyn and my friend Mike.
I gotta throw it out spicy tonight. No, I'm doing pretty good, Zach. It's a little bit of mix, right? Baseball's going bad for me, but football just got real interesting for the 49ers, so I'm ready to jump into it.
Hell yeah. With that said, Mike, how you doing?
I think I'm doing better than Matt based off of how he started the show, but I mean, hey, that could all change with a few more sips of the brew. Let's relax. Let's get some feng shui going. Like let's really get our vibe, set the mood, dim the lights. Let's have a good show, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I love it. Yeah, cheers to that. This is going to be a really, really good show. Cheers, fellas. If you're drinking, yeah, cheers to that too. The 49ers Thursday night news breaks. They have acquired Carolina Panthers star running back Christian McCaffrey. Matt, first thing goes through your mind.
How much did they give up? That's the first thing that went through my mind. How much did they give up? And then second thing through my mind was like, well, can he stay healthy? And then the third thing that went through my mind was, if he does stay healthy, this is going to be a big move for the 49ers. It's really going to help out Jimmy Garoppolo and give them finally a pass-catching back out of the backfield. And there are other implications to that too. So it kind of happened in that order.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So here's the trade here. My guy Steve put together this graphic. Niners get Christian McCaffrey. Panthers received 2023 second-round pick, 2023 third-round pick, 2023 fourth-round pick, and a 2024 fifth-round pick. Mike, is it possible they overpaid? I think you're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. When you first look at it at face value, yeah, you say they overpaid, right? Oh my God, they gave up 4 picks for it. Running back. Running backs are undervalued in today's NFL. They're not worth it anymore. This guy can't stay healthy, blah, 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 right? But then when you really stop and break it all down, no. And if you guys watch our show, this kind of happened while we were live. We were all going through it live. And I said we gave up way too much. I take it all back right now. When you look at where the 49ers are projected to be at the end of the season, we are a playoff team. That pick is going to be in the 60s. Right? Same thing for that third round. Factor in compensation picks. Same for the fourth round. And then the following year's fifth round pick will probably be even better than what we are this year. I think that, matter of fact, when I can't remember the Panthers coach's name and the GM's name now, but they held a presser and they said there was no chart that we have that when you add this all up, it equals a first round pick. And this is a team that went out and publicly said McCaffrey is available if you're willing to give up multiple first-round picks. So if that's where they started, multiple first, and then you add it up on all the different draft value charts, and it still doesn't equal a first-round pick, the Niners got a steal. Then factor in the contract. I'm sure you guys are going to get to that later. The Niners walked away with this. This is a big dub for the 49ers.
Yep. Yeah, well, and like you said, they gave up, at first glance, you're like, man, they gave up a lot. But here's the thing. They kept them away from the Rams because they were the other team that was rumored to be in for Christian McCaffrey, and they outbid the Rams. And that, to me, is worth at least one of those draft picks. Then you factor in, like Mike says, the contract where the Carolina Panthers are on the hook for Christian McCaffrey's signing bonuses. So he's $1 million for the rest of this year, 11.8, and then I think 12 in the last year of his contract. And we're getting him for what should be the remaining prime years of his career. And if he can stay healthy, and again, when we talk about staying healthy, one of the things that I look at is, are they the same injuries over and over and over? and how much surgery has he had. And his stuff is like little ticky-tack stuff. It's a pulled hamstring, it's a tweaked ankle or whatever. He hasn't had any major surgeries that he's needed to be taken care of in the NFL. So that to me is something that, it may be a little bit of bad luck. So all in all, I'm looking at it and just keeping him away from the Rams, and just for the fact that he's going to add another weapon to this offense at a much more discounted rate, that's good. And then the last factor for me is this team can't draft in the second, third, and fourth round anyway. Other than Fred Warner and Deebo Samuel, you're not really looking at a whole hell of a lot in rounds 2 through 4. That 5th round pick is actually the one that I'm like, dang, man, they typically do good there. So that's the one that I'm hurting the most. But yeah, I think that it was fair compensation. I don't think they overpaid. I think that some people are looking at just the running back position, but you got to take in the external factors as well.
Yeah, really well said. Those picks are funny to say that because they do. They've drafted Trey Sermon, Joe Williams, all these backs in the 3rd round, TDP, and for some reason,
Ambry Thomas, dude. What's his face? Catman,
Dante
Pettis. Right.
We got a super chat from Nothing But Niners. CJ Beathard. First super chat of the night. I should say something meaningful. Life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Shout out to Nothing But Niners. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Mike.
Just did that now.
Yes. Thank you.
I sure did.
Appreciate you, brother.
I got the contract pulled up here. And Matt, you touched on it that the Panthers are going to pay a large portion of his salary for this year. I believe this is the number the 49ers are paying him, $690,000 for the rest of the year. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
That has been confirmed by multiple sources. The Panthers paid all the stuff in bonus money and everything like that. And so the remainder of the year is less than $700,000.
That's a steal, man.
Come on, man.
It's a steal.
How can you be mad at that?
And he's under contract until 2025. He'll likely restructure this deal. I would imagine so.
Not according to that idiot Mike Florio.
Well,
Florio wrote an article saying that if the Niners ask him to restructure, that he should tell him to fuck off.
Florio could fuck off for all I care.
Why is he here?
I don't know.
Like how?
I don't know. He is he's such a 49ers hater, and not in the way that like people accuse Grant Cohn, because Grant Cohn just like says what he thinks, right? Florio is an active 49ers hater, and he's been that way. I don't know, since he had that beef with Richard Sherman. It's been ugly.
Yeah, It really is. It's petty. Shit. It's similar to Colin Cowherd with Trey Lance, that like weird personal beef that he has, but it is what it is. It came out tonight by both Schefter and Rap Sheet that he's likely to play tomorrow versus the Chiefs, even though he landed in Santa Clara Friday morning, didn't get much. Mike, I'm going to throw it back to you. How much do you expect to see Christian McCaffrey, and what should we expect out of him?
You guys shouldn't expect to see a lot in the run game. I think he's actually going to be a short down pass catcher, someone who's going to be in there to chip or block really quick and then spread out and short passes going to him. They will have specific packages to him. Listen, I know it's football. I know everyone has their own playbook and the different nomenclature and things like that, but there are basics to football. They're going to have a very, very basic package. Doesn't mean limited to just 3 or 4 plays, by the way. It just means that stuff that is in every single offense in the NFL. And I think a couple of tosses, which I know that sounds crazy. Niners don't do a lot of tosses to the outside. I think we see that incorporated even as early as tomorrow for McCaffrey here. Just some things to get him in space, let him operate, let him do some damage. We have some really young guards that like to get to the second level and get hands on people. I think you see that all come into play on Sunday. Unfortunately, I won't see it because I have a surprise birthday party for my uncle, but whatever. It's terrible.
Damn. Well, you'll definitely catch it on repeat, I'm sure. Matt, it seems like they're expected to get some goal line packages maybe with CMC. What are you expecting from him? Similar to what Mike said?
A little different, actually. And I think Mike touched upon it in a way that I was going to touch on it in just a different way, right? You talk about there are certain fundamentals of football, and it doesn't matter what the playbook is. And I think that running back is one of the most plug and play positions in football. You see the hole, you hit the hole, and you go, right? We all know what the concepts are. Like he might not know the nomenclature, but it's just as simple as the quarterback telling him, hey, like this is your gap, this is where you should be looking or whatever, and it makes it a little easier for him to kind of jump in there. So I actually think that he's going to be more involved in the running game, because I think that's an easier fit than asking him to do pass pro, which actually is a little bit more complicated depending on how the defense lines up. If you hand the ball to Christian McCaffrey, he's going to know where to go. I mean, he's again one of the superstar elite running backs. We don't even think about Christian McCaffrey, the last 2 years, he was injured, this and that, but he's fourth in the NFL right now in yards from scrimmage right now with 640 through 6 games. So he's averaging 100 yards from scrimmage per game. This is a guy that knows how to get into open space and make people miss. So I think that Christian McCaffrey, while won't be like a workhorse, I'd say he's going to get like 8 to 10 carries and maybe 5-6 attempts in the passing game where they're running him on maybe like a halfback angle or like a wheel route or something like that and get him open in space.
It's going to be so exciting to see. Maybe not necessarily Sunday quite yet, but moving forward, what this offense is going to look like. Just Kyle Shanahan, he makes running backs, right? We'll give him that. He makes late round draft picks, undrafted free agents into starting caliber running backs in the NFL, whether that's his system, whatever it is, the player, he's able to get that out of these players. Now he gets somebody who at the point of arrival is already an elite running back, arguably a top, 3-4 running back in the NFL. I'm just so excited to see. It's like the perfect mixture of talent, opportunity, scheme. The Yak Bros just got another sibling. Like, I'm so excited to see this offense with Christian McCaffrey. Mike, you're giving me a face like, I don't know about that. What's up? Spill.
I said it as soon as, like, on the breaking news video. I said it as soon as, not video, because again, we didn't get a chance to do it. It was like live in the middle of our show. I blurted out something that I still can't shake this feeling, and I got to know if you guys feel this way. The most injured team in the NFL in the last 6 years, it's us. We've gone through more running backs than any team in the NFL in the combined, like in the last 3 years or something like that. It's us. Then you get the guy that's always injured also. He's probably like the most injured running back, maybe second most, because I don't know the last time I saw Barkley. I feel like it was like his rookie season, right? I don't know. But is this a really expensive 2 or 3 game rental for this season, just this season, not overall?
Listen, I'm going to quote a famous movie, Stand and Deliver, a famous man, Jaime Escalante, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So you got the most injured team with the most injured player. You're bringing them together. Those negatives cancel out. It's going to be up and running for Christian McCaffrey. And here's the thing. We got Elijah Mitchell back in a couple of weeks. And in the interim, you can spell, Jeff Wilson Jr. and work Christian McCaffrey into the offense more and more. By the time Elijah Mitchell comes back, now you have that 1-2 punch. There's no excuse for Shanahan to be overworking his running backs like he has been. There's no reason for TDP and Jordan Mason to be sitting on the bench while Jeff Wilson Jr. gets 18 to 20 carries a game with a little bit of Tevin Coleman 1 yard and a cloud of dust mixed in every now and again. Shanahan drafts these dudes and then just is like, nah, just kidding. Like, they're not good. And it's just like, well, why are you drafting them then? It makes no sense to me. And that's why I wasn't worried about the draft picks. I'm like, they draft like shit there anyway, so who cares? I think those are still the players that Shanahan and Lynch have, looked at the most, right? They're looking at the top 50 in the draft. They're looking at the top 100 in the draft. After that point, as I've said time and time again, that's where your regional scouts come in. That's where Adam Peters is doing his work. You can pound the desk for your guys all you want, but at the end of the day, we all know Kyle Shanahan is going to pick the guys that he likes, regardless of what your recommendation is. And I think that it would behoove this team actually in the offseason to take personnel control away from Kyle Shanahan and be like, no, you're going to cook with what we give you. I don't give a shit about the old Bill Parcells line. We've seen what you do with your draft picks. It's not good. Unless they're obvious slam dunks, you haven't done a good job. So I just think that, you worry about injuries a little bit. But like I said, no surgeries. They've all been little minor nick up things that have kept them out a couple games here, a couple games there, or whatever. And let's be honest, Carolina, pretty trash team with not a lot of weapons. So the defense knows exactly where you're going. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's usage rate in Carolina was obscene. He was touching the ball almost every play. And, you know, that's not a recipe for longevity. Here, he's going to complement the weapons that we do have, and you don't have to lean on him quite as much. So I think it's going to be a boon for the 49ers overall.
I agree with you 100%. We got a super chat from our guy 49ers Throwback. Our best running back since Frank Gore. I mean, it's hard to disagree with that.
It's been a low bar to clear, man.
Yeah.
Here, I'll throw you one. Our most versatile running back since Ricky Waters.
Yeah, I mean, just the pass catching ability adds a whole nother dynamic to his game. And then Joey Ardato, 1-2 punch, the Draymond special. That's hilarious. All right.
Triple single reference in the house.
I'm just, I don't know, man. I'm like really, really energized by this trade. And we were talking on Nothing But Niners Patreon show earlier today, Mike and I, whether or not this means Kyle Shanahan is, I don't want to say desperate, but showing that he's got all of his cards on the table. This is the year he feels that he can get there. And this was the last piece he needed. He went all out to get it. Matt, do you agree with that? Do you think this is Kyle Shanahan saying, look, this is the last piece that I needed for this team to win a Super Bowl. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to get it.
I think this is him going like, damn, dude, Jimmy leaves so much food on the table. Jimmy just, he's killing me. He's killing me. And it happened again this week where it's just, there was a great video that I put in the chat. It's from Alex Rollins, who does the film breakdowns. And he did like a 10-minute breakdown of Jimmy Garoppolo this year and did his whole heat chart. And it was about how Jimmy Garoppolo only throws to the middle of the field and Kyle has to scheme around that limitation. And it's all the little subtle things that Kyle does to punch and counterpunch a defense. And at some point or another, it's like you see stuff that with a normal quarterback where you'll have Ayuk on the outside who's like wide open up the sideline, but those throws just aren't what Jimmy does. And you can see how hard Kyle works to and there's the video right there, caught in the middle. Jimmy Garoppolo literally throws to just one spot. And you know, admittedly, he does it pretty well. But the point of the video is that Kyle Shanahan works really hard to scheme up things to maximize Jimmy's talent, and Jimmy just so easily fucks everything up. And it's like he even says that, you know, a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo's reads are more predetermined than other quarterbacks because of how fast he gets out the ball and the fact that they do a lot of short drops. So, by the way, that also tells me that he's trying to scheme around this offensive line that for whoever – I don't know what Colley's talking about. I don't even pay attention to you, brother. I don't know. No, like no offense, but like I'm not really in Twitter. I'm assuming you're saying something on Twitter. I don't really pay attention to Twitter that much. But anyway, what I was saying was that it's, you know, a lot of short drops. Whatever anybody's saying about this 49ers offensive line, it's actually not good. So don't let the metrics fool you. They have to do this. And it kind of limits what they can do. And I think that Kyle's just at the point where he's like, well, I mean, if Jimmy needs to get the ball out quick, maybe we can run something out of the backfield. You know, maybe if we put a true receiving threat outside at running back instead of Jeff Wilson Jr., maybe when we line Debo up in the backfield, it'll be more of a guessing game rather than, oh, Debo's getting the ball. Maybe now I can fake to Debo and throw a tunnel screen to Christian McCaffrey. And now you have more of a guessing game on the defense, and that can open up your offense. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I really agree with that. You know, it's like so much of Jimmy's game is within 15 yards. I know we've seen the past couple of weeks that may have changed a little bit where he's taking these shots downfield, but still the majority of his throws are within 10 to 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. And if he can turn some of these dump off passes, some of these little screens into touchdowns, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is more than worth it. And also just to comment on Melissa's comment here, neither Return of Victory Monday suits, they're missed immensely. I agree. I started a new role about 2 months ago, and it's funny, like nobody there really wears ties, but I still do it whenever the Niners have won. I just straight up told them this is a tradition that I'm not going to stop. They're cool with it. They're all Niners fans, so luckily they don't look at me funny.
Could you imagine if somebody had a problem with you dressing too nicely for work? It's like,
where
no.
was that before? They
high tide raises all boats. Y'all need to start dressing nicer.
I used to work with a lady that would show up. I say lady, she was younger than me. A girl would show up as respectful with peace and love, sister, as possible, looking like she just rolled out of bed, man. Yoga pants, hair in a bun, no makeup. And I'm like over here with my tie, my gold tie clip, my freaking suspenders. And I'm just like, I don't know how you leave the house, lady. I'm sorry, man. Have some self-respect.
It's
You're going to
personal
work.
pride. It's personal pride. Yeah, exactly. It's work.
Yeah. All right. So
says the guy who wears basically pajamas to work.
Well, that's different. Scrubs are
I mean, scrubs are kind of like pajamas.
You can't wear a suit to work. That would look kind of weird.
I wish.
Mike, I'm going to throw it back to you. Does this change anything as far as Deebo Samuel's role in this offense? Is he going to be less of a wide back and more of a wide receiver again?
What's dope about this is that it's actually the Deebo and McCaffrey become interchangeable, right? Deebo is a wide receiver that can occasionally play running back. McCaffrey is a running back that can occasionally play wide receiver. And so just that alone is going to give Kyle Shanahan a lot of flexibility. It's going to give him a lot. Imagine coming out in 11 personnel. I'm sorry, in 12 or 13 personnel, right? One receiver, one running back, 3 tight ends. And then just all of a sudden, like everyone's out wide. You know what I mean? Or 21 personnel where you got Juice and Christian McCaffrey, and you got Deebo out on one side, you got Kittle out there, then everyone breaks out wide, right? You really and sincerely have to cover all of those guys as legit downfield threats. That's what Kyle is looking for here, that kind of dynamic here. As far as it taking away from what Deebo was asked to do, I have noticed that in the games that we're behind later in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, Kyle starts bringing Deebo back to the backfield a little bit. And I don't know if it's desperation. I don't quite know why that seems to happen at those moments in time, but he does. And I think that will stop that in particular from happening. There's no need to do it anymore. You know, like you got Christian McCaffrey, and I think that the opposing defense would have to respect him being back there, plus Deebo over there, more than Deebo back here and then McCaffrey over here. I think they would have to respect that a little bit more. Like it would keep them more honest than anything else. So it will affect that a lot. Well, I'm not going to say a lot. It will affect it at face value. Motions after they line up, that's something completely different. That I can't even try to predict. We already are the most motioning team in the NFL. I can only imagine what it's going to look like now. It's going to be insane.
I agree with you. I do think that you would much rather keep Christian McCaffrey in the backfield and keep Deebo lined outside. But I'm just saying that in the event that they do want to bring Deebo in for whatever they need, whether it's a short yardage thing or whether it's like just a complete like fake out or whatever, they will have to respect the fact that Christian McCaffrey is out there. Before it was Jeff Wilson or one of the other running backs or, you know, one of the lesser wide receivers that you're not super worried about being that weapon or whatever. They're just going to have to pay attention to Christian McCaffrey, though, whether he's lined out wide or in the slot. And it's something that he does well, by the way. It's something that the 49ers can utilize sparingly, hopefully, to kind of increase the effect of when Deebo does do those type of things. Because let's face it, he is really good at some of that stuff. And for as versatile as Christian McCaffrey is, he's definitely not a banger style of running back. He's definitely a more elusive style back. And if you need a tough short yardage situation, or if you want to like act like you're going to do a short yardage situation and utilize Christian McCaffrey in space, that's where I think it holds the most value on like a 3rd and 2, where it's like, are they going to run with Deebo? And then you have like maybe a trips formation to the right with Christian McCaffrey in the slot, and you're running an act like a jailbreak screen for Christian McCaffrey out on the left, you know, on one of the sides or whatever. That's where you have to respect it, because you can either run it up the middle and Deebo might get those 2 yards, or you get Christian McCaffrey in space with blocking in front of him, and he's definitely going to get those 2 yards. So that's where it comes into play, is short yardage, I think.
Yeah, someone asked about a goal line package earlier in the show for McCaffrey. And if we're talking goal line in the conventional sense, where it's just give him the rock and let him pound it up the middle, that is
I'd rather
not the way I would use that guy. It should be TDP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should not be him. Yeah. So I wouldn't use him in that traditional sense that way. I think that's a waste of his talent, and it's risking injury that is not necessary. Like, you have bigger, more physical backs on the team that should be able to do things like that. Coleman. even. Like, talk about 1 yard in a cloud of dust. Get the 1 yard. Like, go for, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
We got a question in here earlier from Melissa that I wanted to touch on. Is there a chance either or both Mooney and Huff play tomorrow? Mooney was dealing with, I believe, a groin injury that he suffered late in the Falcons game, and Huff suffered a concussion, which we talked about in this post game early on, apparently, but he was diagnosed with concussion after the game. Matt, they haven't announced any. Do you expect either of these or both to play?
I think that Ward is going to play. Hufanga is more of a game time decision. The fact that they haven't announced him yet is a little concerning, and I would say he'd probably miss. For me, I think both of them could use a week off. I mean, not to, put a damper on anything, but I believe this is the second time that Charvarius Ward has been nursing a hamstring or a groin this season. And then with concussions, man, you just never know. I mean, obviously the Tua situation was a scary thing. And I think that, again, if it was me, I would automatically make you miss the next game. I just think that is too important. Your brain is too important for long-term health, particularly with the way Hufanga flies around the field. Not that he leads with his helmet, or he's somebody like, Deshaun Goldson or whatever, who's just going to run up and just pop somebody, right? He's not Hittner. He's not Dante Hittner. So in that regard, he has a lot more technique with his tackling. He doesn't lead with his head, but with a player that plays as hard as he does, you just don't know. And so I'd rather give him the extra week off, particularly because this move notwithstanding, and we'll get into the predictions later, this is a game that whether they're there or not is probably not going to matter.
Oh, okay. All right. So sounds like you're thinking this is going to be not a close game. We'll get into our score predictions at the end, but Mike, obviously Charvarius played against the Chiefs or with the Chiefs for a long time. Even with that knowing, do you think there's a chance he misses this game?
A chance, yeah. His injury is a little bit different than Talanoa Hufanga's, right? Both of which were in the question, and both of which who are listed as questionable. Hufanga is listed as questionable, even though he's not physically hurt. It's part of the concussion protocol. He can't be listed as just good to go today. It's part of the process. Tomorrow is the final day of the concussion protocol and the test and all that they have to go through. So even if he was and they thought he was going to play, today he would still be listed as questionable. He's not available for full contact today. The part and the steps that he were in right now, yesterday and today during practice, was out there doing football things and then reevaluating how he felt. So far, there's not been a setback. As long as there's no setbacks tomorrow, he will be active. He will play. With Ward, it's a little bit different. This groin injury, it's going to be how do you feel thing come game time. It's not like something that it's precautionary and it's like it's steps that they're calculating or anything like that. This is going to,
and even that'll be fluid too, right?
Yeah, because he can say,
how he feels at the beginning is not how he feels at the end.
Exactly. So him, I don't know about. I always wonder, there's a part of me that, anytime we have a player that knows another team, if we sign up, I'm going to say this and we don't do it often, but let's say we sign a Seattle player and then they're here and then we're about to play the Seahawks. It's I always wonder to myself, do we put him in because he knows them or do we keep him out because they know him? You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know how that would work with Ward because
Patrick Mahomes have been picking him apart for 4 years or whatever.
Right, but he's got new weapons. So there's no benefit, right? Patrick Mahomes has been doing it, but it's Juju Smith-Schuster, new this year. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, yeah. MVS, yes. I was going to mix it up a little bit and the juice is flowing, sorry. But those are two new guys for him this year. Who exactly is he going to be covering that he knows? What's the benefit to it? And so I think I'm more aligned with what Matt was saying. There's no need to rush him back. This is not worth the rush, if we're being completely honest. He can't give us any insight to the people he's going to be covering. And any other insight that he can give us that helps, it's verbal. It's nothing that he can physically go out there and do. So he's already given us what he can. That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
And Dante Johnson being activated, jersey. says something about the DB position. I know a lot of people think that's directly related to Charvarius Ward. I do not. I think that Womack is a liability right now. I think he keeps his eyes in the backfield too much, and that's why on 3 of the 2 plays that I saw him out there, he gave up touchdown. Or 2 of the 3 plays that I saw him out there, he gave up touchdowns on. I think that's why Dante was activated, not Charvarius Ward.
Okay, I like that. I saw we got another super chat. Shout out to Niners Dodgers. Pound the rock, keep Mahomes off the field. Yes, sir. Chew up that clock.
I'll shout out to Niners, but I ain't shouting out to those goddamn Dodgers.
Keep the clock running, keep the lead. And I saw another same guy. Is KC favored tomorrow? Levi's, what's the bet line? I believe the Chiefs are favored by 1 point. How?
It got as low as half a point. It opened at -2.5 before the McCaffrey move.
This is insane. It really is insane. I think the Chiefs should be favored by 4, 5.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I thought you were leaning the other way. I was like, dude,
no,
it should be much higher.
I am not confident in the 49ers' ability tomorrow.
No, bet the Chiefs all day.
Yeah.
All right. And confession time. We're on it. We're talking about it. So my aunt sent this Evite, I think is what they're called now, right? And
wait a second. Are you going to your uncle's surprise party because you don't want to watch this ass whooping?
That was originally why. Yes, that's exactly. So she asked us to RSVP, and I was like, I don't know yet. And the deadline was after Sunday's game, right? So I saw how we got dog walked by this terrible team that I know we're better than. I'm like, yo, guys, we're gonna get stomped by the Chiefs. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. I'm going to RSVP yes, right? But in my original RSVP, I said yes, but I put my wife's name as 1, not 1 plus 1. I just put her as the only person. So my mom is over here Sunday night after we lose. She's a Cowboys fan. My brother's an Eagles fan. They were over here watching the late night game, and my mom had to RSVP that night. So she said yes plus 1 because I was like, you know what? The Niners lost to the Falcons. Like, I don't want to see an embarrassing game. Like, I'll have the Patreon up and running, but I'm going to go. I'll go as your plus 1. Like, let's go. And then the trade happens. And now I'm like, fuck. Like, I want to see. I don't care if it's just 4 plays. I want to see if we do a toss to a running back. It's so bad. Like that's what I want to see. So I decided I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna be joining from the phone. Like, and we'll just see what happens. My mom wasn't gonna accept a no. You only turned 51. It's her baby brother. Like blah 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 blah. Whatever. So, and it's also it's a dual birthday party. If we want to be fair, I have an aunt who's throwing the party for herself, but her birthday was 2 months ago. My uncle's birthday is next weekend, and it's a surprise party for him. So she's using it as an excuse to come celebrate me, but it's really for him also. So, yeah. And obviously they have different mothers. That's why one is born and the other one's born 3 months later. It's not the same thing. My grandfather was just a whore. Okay, sorry.
Damn.
You guys
all right.
All right, there you go.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope the Niners prove you wrong. I hope they prove me wrong too. But for some reason, man, I just got a bad feeling about this. I mean, we saw what Marcus Mariota was able to do. Granted, I know the defense was hopefully a lot more injured than they're going to be tomorrow, because if not, I'm changing the channel back to Red Zone before halftime. Moving on to this game, I just thought this was cool. Wanted to talk about it. Tomorrow there will be 10th anniversary of the 2012 49ers. Let me change this overlay here so you guys can see it. And tonight they are celebrating it. Our guy, the owner, Jed York, tweeted this out right now a few minutes ago. You see Harbaugh, Alden, Willis, a bunch of other players from the 2012. Staley's up there. It really, really is cool to see Jim Harbaugh back on the 49ers in a team official event. Colin Kaepernick was invited. I don't think he's showing up. Alex Smith should be there. Maybe they play their hearts out because they are possessed by the spirit of Jim Harbaugh's 2012 49ers. I don't know, man. I'm trying to come up with anything to get myself looking positive for tomorrow. Any thoughts on this team showing up? Mike, you kind of look confused over there. What's going on?
No, I'm angry. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. We are celebrating a team that lost the Super Bowl. Like, what exactly are we doing here? It's the 10th anniversary of what? Right? When we fired Jim Harbaugh, Jed's speech to the media immediately was, "We don't celebrate NFC championships." So what exactly? So now we're honoring them though? We don't celebrate them, but we'll honor them 10 years later on their anniversary? What is this? What exactly is going on? And keep in mind, guys, this was after the faithful were literally just saying, "Fire Kyle." I understand what's happening after the Christian McCaffrey trade, right? Everyone's all excited, right? We've re-energized. We got a new boost in the arm. But before that trade, after we put up 14 points to the bum-ass Falcons, everyone was like, "Kyle, what the hell are you doing? How are you an offensive genius?" Never again will we acknowledge you as the genius word. Everyone was on their heads. You've got Debo, you got Kittle, you got Ayuk. You have a good offensive line, and you can't score. The defense needed you for one game, and you couldn't show up. Hey, Jim Harbaugh, come on down. Let's bring back the coach that they all hated me for firing, and I fired him because we didn't celebrate championships. We won Super Bowls publicly. That's what he said. We know the behind the story reason why he fired him, right? But publicly, that's what he said. The majority of the people don't know about that, right? But it's like, what exactly are we celebrating, and how could that not have been the worst time ever? The Niners needed the CMC trade more than CMC needed to be traded out of Carolina. This saved the morale of the fan base because it was pitchforks and torches on the front lawn of Mary DeBartolo Way. It was nuts. It was absolutely insane. And I hate this idea of celebrating a losing Super Bowl team. We were embarrassed in that Super Bowl. Miss me with the lights went out, the final score. No. Had those lights not went out, we would have lost that game by 28 points. It was embarrassing. Just my thoughts.
And I'll just put it like this, too, by the way. I'll just put it to you like this. I'm totally with you. We don't celebrate losers. That team lost the Super Bowl. And much like Richard Sherman said, run the fucking ball. You mean to tell me at the end of that game that you're going to throw how many fade routes with a quarterback that can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn? I'm sorry for you Kaepernick fans that he was not accurate. And we had like primetime Frank Gore. You should have given the ball to Frank Gore down there and let him run. We had an offensive line that was built for running right up people's ass, and they should have given him that ball.
Frank Gore had a 51-yard to get us down there in the first place, right? Then they line up, they call a timeout, and they put fucking LaMichael James, the only carry in that man, don't get me started again, please. LaMichael James got the ball and not Frank Gore? What are we talking about, bro? Let's celebrate that.
It would be as equally outrageous to say in 2029, Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo, Richard Sherman all come back. Yeah. The fuck did they get done? Nothing. What banner is there? Oh, they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I was told we cannot tolerate mediocrity. We cannot accept this. That performance was unacceptable. Jed York stood in front of that podium and told us all this. And then he's going to bring this team back. Don't get me wrong. I love that team, but I do not understand the idea of this event. They did not win a ring, as much as that pains me to say. No, that's the reality.
Here's the thing. Wait 2 years and then celebrate a team that did fucking win it all with the 30th anniversary of the 94 team. That's what
Beautiful.
You do. This team, I love a lot of players on that team, and I went through a lot of bullshit. I went through the Tim Rattays and the Jim Druckenmillers and the fucking, the years of
JT O'Sullivan.
Dude, the 90s and late 90s, early 2000s uniforms, I love them, but they're bad luck, man. We can't ever bring them back because those teams were dog shit.
Cody Pickett.
I'm just saying. I think we had Ken Dorsey at one point.
Yeah.
So, you can't celebrate that shit. But I agree with you. There was definitely something subliminal in that, and I think that was done kind of on purpose.
Yeah. I'm just saying that with the way this fan base was feeling right after the loss, having Harbaugh in that building on tomorrow with the way they were feeling without this trade would have been detrimental for the outcome, especially because we all expected us to lose this game. This 1-point underdog has a lot to do with the betting. I promise you, it has a lot to do with the betting. Like, the Niners should have been 6 or 7 point dogs based off of the performance we saw against Atlanta. Let me be very clear with what I'm saying. based off of what have you done for me lately, based off of the litany of injuries that we had and we've been suffering, right? Like, there's no reason for any of us to have been like, yeah, I think we got a shot in this game. Yeah, we can go out there and give them a good fight. We haven't allowed a touchdown at home all year long. That can continue. No, kiss my ass. This is the fucking Chiefs. This is Andy Reid we're talking about coming in here, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're downhill. Okay, that's one guy. Who's the highest scoring team in the league right now? It's like the Bills and then them or some shit like that. Like, they or maybe vice versa. They might be number one now. I don't even know. But like, it's damn close. They're up there. It's funny because we had that pulled up earlier, right? But anyhow, I don't and I didn't look at the teams. I just looked at the points because I was proving the point.
It's Kansas City.
It is
Kansas City averages 29.8 points a game. Buffalo is second, 29.3 points per game.
Insane.
And we were like, they're coming into our house. We couldn't put up more than 14 points against the Falcons. And everyone was hating Kyle Shanahan on social media. Hey, Jim Harbaugh, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. And he's standing there front and center in the middle of, at the 50-yard line in Levi's Stadium, the house that he built. That's what they said, right? Like, this is the house that Harbaugh built. He's back at home. You fired him, and the fan base hated you for it. And at the peak of the head coach's hate, he's back in there.
So, by the way, let me stir it up a little bit more. I fully believe that the 2012 49ers would have won a Super Bowl had they not benched Alex Smith.
I said that a long time ago. I said that we would have never been in that deficit. The ball control, the clock control, and all that, they would, even if...
And the lack of mistakes.
They wouldn't have had that many points because we would have had the ball longer than that. It was a meticulous marching offense when Alex Smith was under center.
So, also, let me just add in here two things. I remember last year when the 49ers were 3-5, and at certain points this year, you know how on Twitter you can hide replies if it's your tweet? They were hiding every single reply that mentioned Harbaugh. Did you guys see this when it was going on?
Yep. Yep. We talked about it on the show.
We did. If you said, hire Harbaugh, Kyle sucks, it would be a hidden reply. Now you're bringing Harbaugh back to a game that you're likely going to lose to celebrate. You couldn't have done it week 3 or whatever the hell they played the Rams on a Monday night on primetime TV and a game you're likely going to win, or I don't know, any other game where you're like, we're probably going to win this game. We could celebrate this. Like, make it your fucking homecoming. Treat it like a high school game where you know you're going to beat the shit out of this team. Instead, the arguably most toughest game on your schedule, the Kansas City Chiefs, who just lost, by the way, in heartbreaking fashion to the Buffalo Bills, who are pissed off, energized, encouraged, whatever the hell you want it, motivated. It's just, it's insane. It really is insane, but I have no other words than we shouldn't celebrate this shit.
And I think, I could be wrong here, Andy Reid has only lost once back-to-back in his entire tenure as a Chiefs head coach. It's either once or none. That, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's so bad. It's so bad. And see, Callie, don't say that. You can't name 2 receivers on that team for Alex Smith in that game. In fact,
and by the way, they would have won that game had Kyle Williams not fumbled the fucking ball twice. So
twice,
yeah, you got that going on. But there was a play late in the fourth quarter, a deep shot down the right sideline, right? Had a guy wide open. His name was Brett Swain, and if he ran anything faster than a 4.89, it was a touchdown, and that was the game. But because this guy was as slow as cold molasses, it went right off of his
Bro,
feet.
You just took Crabtree and then put the 2 receivers that we mentioned in here. Stop capping, fool. Come on. Also, I want to address this real quick. Chris Hansen said, we wouldn't beat Green Bay with Smith. We beat him twice with Jimmy. We own Green Bay's ass. We own Aaron Rodgers. He's 0-4 in the playoffs against us. So that don't hold water to me.
We beat him with Alex Smith. What is he talking about?
When did we beat him with Smith?
It was in the regular season. It was 2000.
It was the first game of that season. David Acre banged one in, 63-yard field goal or whatever.
It was the regular. Was that the 2000?
Might have been that might have been the 2013 opener. Either way,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. We own Green Bay.
I can't change it. Yeah, I can't change this window.
It's unfortunate, but hey, and the chat corrected me, or at least it informed me. They scheduled it based off of Jim Harbaugh's bye to make it work out. So that makes it a little more understandable, but still,
yeah, but
I'm not a fan of it.
This definitely was something that they scheduled. But here's the thing: what you pointed out is absolutely true. That last year with a 3-5 start, they absolutely were hiding replies. And I think that when they scheduled this, they're like, it's turn the page. It's Trey Lance. No matter how this is going, they're going to have leeway because Trey Lance is a young guy. And then Trey Lance is gone. It's back to Jimmy. The expectations go back to what they were. And now the team is 3-3 coming off a terrible loss. So it just doesn't look good. And by the way, it's just the fact that they went out of their way to announce Harbaugh individually also speaks volumes to me. Because I didn't see them announcing this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy individually. Harbaugh was the one that they made a point.
Yeah. Also, nobody here hates Colin Kaepernick. I don't know if you're talking about somebody in the chat. We're just stating how we feel about his performances. We love Cap as a player. What he did for the Niners was awesome.
Listen, right. I don't hate Colin Kaepernick, but you can't look back on both of their careers and say that Colin Kaepernick was anywhere close to what Alex Smith was. Particularly after Alex Smith got some stability as at coaching.
Maybe he had a higher
from
peak.
Harbaugh to Andy Reid. Yeah, but the peak lasted one season.
Exactly.
By the end of 2013, everybody was figuring him out. And here's the thing. Colin Kaepernick did everything in the offseason to improve himself except what you need to improve as a quarterback. It was always him lifting weights or him running or him doing this and that. It wasn't him in the film room. It wasn't him working on his trajectory. It wasn't him working on his footwork. It's one of the things that I love about Trey Lance is that he's like, I'm going to this quarterback guru because I know that I have something in my throwing motion that I can clean up. I know I have footwork issues that I need to clean up. Those are the things I want to see. I don't give a shit how much you bench press. Like, who cares? At a quarterback, who cares? Right? And that's my problem. He never improved. He never did the things necessary on the football field from a quarterback standpoint to improve himself. So it's not hate. It's just being honest. Alex Smith is a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick was.
And I think also people forget Alex Smith's time in Kansas City before he was replaced with Patrick Mahomes. He was a damn good quarterback with Andy Reid. As soon as he got a competent play caller and didn't have 6 OCs in 6 years or whatever the ridiculous number the Niners put him through, he turned into a really good quarterback.
Dude, I mean, he went through Mike Nolan. He went through Mike Singletary. Like, before he even got to Harbaugh, he had however many or whatever. Come on, man. It's like Alex Smith went. And by the way, when Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh got Alex Smith, he had improved, right? It's real easy to forget that people are just like, oh, man, like, Colin Kaepernick, he's so electric. He's this and that. I mean, did you watch 2011? Did you not watch the naked bootleg? Did you not watch the throw to Vernon Davis against the Saints? That was a hell of a game. Yeah. So it's revisionist history. And this has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that Alex Smith is a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. And if you don't show me a metric other than running, that proves otherwise. Show me one metric, whether it be quarterback rating, completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, anything. Show me one thing.
49er Media, Zach, we need the suits back on the live. It's so funny. I was driving back home today, and I thought, should I bring back the suit to celebrate CMC being a 49er? And I ended up not having enough time because I was kind of rushing at the end. If the 49ers win tomorrow, I guarantee you I will be wearing a suit on that post-game show. And if not, hey, maybe I'll rock one anyway. Maybe I'll rock one the next show. I don't know, but I got to bring him back. I agree. My guy sitting here below me is wearing a suit, and I'm here in a t-shirt. I gotta live up to the standard. We're gonna wrap this show up soon, but before we do, we gotta say thank you to today's sponsor. Then we're gonna get into our final score predictions. You guys can send us your final score, offensive and defensive MVP predictions. If you get any of them right, we'll send you some merch. We're still waiting for somebody to do it. Nobody's done it yet. Let's shout out today's sponsor, Mybookie. We've tried to do this a few times the last few shows. Every single time I've done it, YouTube just fucks the stream. So I'm going to hope this goes well. Guys, Mybookie is sponsoring today's show. You know football. You pick winners all the time. Why not get paid to do so at Mybookie? You can bet single game spreads, money lines, or parlay multiple picks together to increase your payouts. Every Sunday morning, I'm like watching on the edge of my seat because I got like a 4 or 5 game parlay, that I'm so excited that it's so close to hitting. It makes football so much more fun. They got low contest entry fees, over $500,000 to be won. Make it so you don't have to be a pro gambler to have some fun. You might be asking me, Zach, sounds great. How the hell do I get started? What do I do? It's super simple. All you got to do is visit Mybookie.ag and use promo code Hive, as in 49ers Hive. It's right there on the screen. On your first deposit of $50 or more to secure a double deposit bonus. That's promo code Hive to get your first deposit of $50 or more matched dollar for dollar all the way up to $1,000. You deposit 50, they'll match you 50. You deposit 500, they'll match you 500. You can do the math. MyBookie is a proven sports book that makes it simple to bet and simple to win. So make this your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. All right, guys, let's move into our...
Wait. I got to hijack the show because people are getting loose in the chat.
Go ahead.
Alex Smith had a squad in KC and didn't do shit. He didn't lose 45-44 to the Indianapolis Colts, throwing 30 of 46 for 378 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That was his best year ever. What are y'all talking about? See, like, this is the stuff that bothers me, bro.
Right.
Like,
look, we don't come back 17-0 versus Atlanta with Alex Smith. We wouldn't have been down 17-0 with Alex Smith.
Like, stop. You guys got to stop.
And then here's the last thing. I want to bring this up too. Sorry. Here's the last thing. Yeah, we know what it is. What is it, Niners Dodgers fan? I think I know what your implication is. But I don't know if you noticed Mike down here saying the same shit that I'm saying.
Yeah, like y'all
you don't want to throw that card down.
Y'all have to stop.
That's not what it is.
I said Alex Smith beat the Packers 2012. Matt, you were right. Week 1, he went 20 of 26, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, had a passer rating of 125.6. Beat the Packers 30-22. Week 1, straight out the gate. And that was Matt's point. Like, it's not. That was the year that he got injured, and they went to Cap and never looked back. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion that varies from someone else's. That's all.
Yeah, you know you're wrong. I mean, listen, this is the Dodger side of you talking. Go wash that shit out of your mouth. Hold that L in the NLDS, right? Hold your 111 win, good for nothing, ass for nothing, right? You didn't do shit either. You had a squad this year. You didn't do shit. 111 wins, nothing. Shut up.
All right.
Your Dodgers.
And by the way, don't insinuate shit that is definitely not true, because I know what you're insinuating and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah. And also, this is why it's so ridiculously difficult to even talk about this shit amongst Alex 49ers fans, because it immediately turns into some political discussion, racial. We're not talking about any of that shit. We're talking about what they did on the field.
Yeah, we're talking about.
And Collie, I know Alex Smith. Come on, bro. Agree to disagree. Give me one quarterback metric other than running the fucking football that Colin Kaepernick was better at than Alex Smith. Any statistical metric you want. I dare you, because you can't fucking find it.
I can point out a couple of games. Like, he did have that one game, 2013.
Games, not career. I'm talking. Yeah. I said he had the better career. He was the better quarterback. He was.
Right. His peak was higher, but Smith's was longer and at a more consistent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you guys a question. I know we're about to start going ahead into the game and predictions and things like that, but I want to ask you guys this question. It's National Tight Ends Day tomorrow, and I have never seen George Kittle score a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. This is the worst holiday he has ever invented. He has damn near shot himself in the foot, like Plexico, like in the leg, like Plex. Like, is George Kittle going to actually get in the end zone tomorrow, guys? I mean, he's got all the other distractions.
You brought up the Plexico. Damn.
I'm just saying, like, what is he going to finally do it? And then here's the crazy thing. The 2 best tight ends in the NFL on the field at the same time on National Tight Ends Day. That's something we should have been celebrating. That should have been in the headlines, not this 2012 BS that's happening right now. Like, I want to talk about that. Is he actually going to get in the end zone?
Probably not.
No.
I mean, unfortunately, not. I don't know. George Kittle, he might have a nice game. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, he hasn't shined this year. Maybe he's not in football shape. I don't know what it is. Maybe tomorrow's the first.
I think he's on the decline of his career, if I'm being honest.
We've discussed that, and it's very likely It is very unfortunately, but I don't know, man. I don't
Look,
know.
I mean,
I don't know.
everybody points to his game last week and was like, oh, he had 8 catches for 83 yards. I'm like, yeah, we caught like 4 of them on that last drive when it didn't even matter anymore. Like, where are you quarters 1 through 3? Don't just give me, again, we rail on Kirk Cousins for being like Mr. Garbage Time Stat, right? George Kittle's game last week was garbage time stats. And, you know, I said it in the group chat, and I'm going to get flamed in the comments here right now. I'd see Melissa's already mad. Melissa, you're going to be real mad because when he was like, oh, yeah, let's go, George Kittle, I was like, I don't know why he's so happy because his salary is going to be the one that goes to pay for Christian McCaffrey's. So
I saw people speculating online that this offseason could very well be the end of George Kittle and Red and Gold. Maybe they move him. I don't know. We got a super chat from 49ers Throwback. Kittle's overpaid. He doesn't even care.
I don't think he doesn't care. I don't think that he doesn't care. I just think that when you have so many lower body injuries, it's going to catch up to you. And I don't even think it registers. It doesn't register for any professional athlete in the NBA right now. Russell Westbrook still plays like he thinks he's like 2016 Russell Westbrook, and he's not. I don't think that Kittle knows it. I think that he's just a hair slower, a little less explosive. You know, those bones start aching, and he's, 30 years old now, and he plays super physical. And I think it's better for the 49ers to really take a true look at the situation and be like, do we get out a year early rather than a year too late? Do we get maximum value for Kittle while we can, or do we run the risk that he actually is on the decline, he doesn't recover, and then we're left holding this huge contract in the last couple of years?
George Kittle for Mike Gesicki straight up, and we redo his contract because he's on the last year of his deal.
I don't hate that.
I would be opening to listen to more of that.
Dolphins, 49ers, same offensive scheme. Kittle can come in there and teach everybody else. They get a proven guy with a big name, former Pro Bowler. We get a young guy trying to make his way in the NFL as a tight end.
How young is he?
Mike Gesicki's on his rookie contract. I don't know how old he was when he was drafted. I'm going to guess at the oldest 24. I'll pull it up right now, though, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. All right. I think Mike Gesicki's a very underrated tight end.
He's actually 27.
I was going to say, I thought he's a little older.
Why are they all so damn old? What the fuck?
Because they go to college for like 5 years. They're fifth-year seniors, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's
the same
Jersey.
Thing with Kittle was a fifth-year senior also. He came into the league at 23 or 24.
I forgot. That's why I like Gesicki so much.
JM617 says, Chilio, he needs to block. Have you seen the snaps when he doesn't? Is this a good point that he hasn't been allowed to run routes?
Then why are we paying him so much? You don't pay as much as we pay for him for a blocker. He's a great blocker, but we pay him for more than that.
We can dump on him all we want. We're talking about a decline. The other tight end on the field tomorrow is on more of a decline that people want to admit right now. Everyone's like, oh my God, he had 4 touchdowns in the game. Dude, he had like 5 catches for 27 yards. Like, talk about a decline. That's where the decline is right there. Like, that's where you're going to see it. Yeah, you got a couple of touchdowns on those catches, but like, what are you doing when you get the ball in your hands? Jack shit. Like, Travis Kelce is, I'm going to fight to get open, throw me the ball, fall down. He is Tony Gonzalez, like, at the end of Tony Gonzalez's career. So we'll see.
He's got 41 catches for 455 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. That's not bad.
Wait, he's got that much already?
41 catches for 455 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. He's not declined at all.
I was going to say
they're forcing the ball, but that's less than 10 a pop, bro.
Yeah, but he's running short routes.
All right.
If it was less than 10 a pop for a wide receiver, I would say some shit. But for a tight end, like, I'm not stressed about 10 yards.
That's not how they use Kelce, though. You know how
it is this year because they don't have Hill to stretch the field to open it up for Kelce underneath. So you're actually having to move him closer to the line of scrimmage.
That's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Like, the coverage is closer now. That's fair. I'll give you that. We'll see what happens when they get a speed threat, because MVS is not giving them what they thought they would.
No, and Mecole Hardman is so inconsistent. Like, he had potential, and I think that's what they were hoping, that he would break out, but he hasn't so far. He's just super inconsistent and streaky.
Yeah.
I think Juju has been what they thought he'd be, though. I would argue Juju's been a nice addition to that offense.
I think so.
the one receiver they can arguably rely on outside of Kelsey. All right, let's get into the final score, offensive, defensive MVP predictions. Before we get into that, guys, we're going to be live right after the game tomorrow, right after Kyle Shanahan goes live. Please join us. We appreciate all you guys. Hit like, hit subscribe. Even if you disagree with us. As a matter of fact, if you disagree with us, please do it even more so because we appreciate the pushback. Sometimes we're wrong. As much as that is crazy for a host to say, we are wrong, and we appreciate you guys telling us that. It makes us think from a totally different perspective we might not even have considered previously. So please, if you disagree with us, hit like, continue to show up, continue to share your thoughts, and just know that all of this is just in good fun and debate.
Yeah. Wait, I do want to say, why is Juszczyk a bum? I don't understand that. Hey, that's misuse from Kyle. That's not Juszczyk's fault.
She wants to see Hokett out there.
Wait,
for the money we're paying
right now, is he? I don't know, man. Juszczyk has consistently been, when he gets opportunities, he consistently makes something happen.
Every time he gets the ball,
I don't understand why they don't use him more. Even use him as a fucking second tight end.
Yes, I'm like, every time he gets the ball, he needs to get the ball more, and then we don't see him for another 45 snaps. It's like, what the fuck, Kyle? This guy just made a man miss. Ran 40 yards, whatever, 20 yards, and then got out of bounds. It's just like, why does he not get more involved? He is a weapon that just is not utilized. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. All right, guys.
I've all been hella wrong tonight. Yeah, especially your boy. Hey, maybe
tell me one thing I've been wrong about tonight on this show. I know.
See, and it's so. This is the thing that's frustrating. It's so easy. Kali, I challenged you. Show me a stat. I don't see any stats in here. I just see you flapping your fucking gums. And I love you and I respect you and it's all good and we're just debating, but come on, man, you got to bring it stronger than that. Like, you can't just say I'm wrong without backing it up. Because if I tell you you're wrong, I'm going to back it up. Like when dude said, oh, he had a squad in KC and didn't do dick. And then I bring up the fact that he threw a near perfect game against the Colts and the defense gave that up. That was, he had a squad that gave up 45.
Yeah. Brandon said, before Bosa was injured, the 49ers allowed just 11 points per game. Best defense in football. That number went up to 14 just from the one game he was out. Defense needs to get healthy.
Good news 100%. That Bosa is playing.
Yeah.
Niners have not lost a game wearing the red jerseys this year. The Niners have not allowed a touchdown at home this year.
They're wearing the throwbacks.
But they're the red ones, though. They are the red ones, though. So that's why I put it in there that way. With that being said, I think the Niners take a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me go out here on this limb. I'll go first. I think we lose this game. I know we got Christian McCaffrey and everything, and maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely do. The Niners are also undefeated this season when I pick against them. So, I mean, look, this is the perfect trifecta, right? If all these stats continue, this is the perfect trifecta. The Niners come out with a nice victory tomorrow. But I am going to pick the Chiefs to win this game by 3 with a final score of 24-27.
Okay. Hey, 10 more points than last week.
There you go. We didn't even get to our offensive defensive MVPs, man.
Oh shit, we did not.
My bad.
No, we
can do that after. We'll do it after. Let's do the final score.
Final score positions. All right. You want me to go?
Please do, unless you want me to go.
The 49ers, even with Nick Bosa back, I think he's going to make a little bit of a difference. But the fact of the matter is they still have a lot of injuries in the secondary. We have no idea how good Charvarius Ward is going to be with the groin injury. We have no idea if Talanoa Hufanga is going to play. Jimmy Ward, if he's going to play with that club, we don't even know what that's going to look like. There's a lot going on. Fred Warner has still been lackluster in coverage. I think they still miss Azeez Al-Shire. I just think that this is, Kansas City coming off of a loss. This is a recipe for disaster for the 49ers. I think the Chiefs take it, and I'm going to say it's a score of 34-20.
Ooh. Yeah, man. I think last week I got a little too confident in the 49ers. I think I predicted a score like 31-13 or some shit like that. No, actually I did not, because the Falcons have been close. I predicted a close game, but I predicted they would win. I just don't think this is the game they're going to win. They're still beat up. I don't know who's even playing. Christian McCaffrey who plays won't be much. Chiefs, like I said earlier, they lost last week. They're pissed off. They're motivated. and I'm hoping I get some juju against myself, as Mike was kind of saying, and picking against the 49ers. And I'm going to say 31-30 Chiefs win at the end. It's going to be a heartbreaker. At least I didn't say the Super Bowl score.
Spread. With the 1 point spread.
With the 1 point spread.
He's taking the Vegas outs, but he's betting
the look at that. Okay,
over.
Zach.
Yeah.
What's the over under for points?
49.
49. There you go. He's taking the over by a lot.
Ooh, okay.
All I know is Alex shit the bed and Hey, Kyle Williams, 2 fumbles. Get back at me, bro.
Also, Christ,
you can't just ignore that.
Says, what negative Nancy channel is this? We're not negative. We're just realists.
It's realistic, bro.
You see what happens when you come on here and don't pick the Niners to win? Yeah. You see?
I know, right?
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Against arguably the best team in the NFL. I have them losing by 1 point.
Coming off of a tough loss to Buffalo Bills, in which there were some calls that went against them. You don't think they're going to be pissed off, man? Like, this offense, listen, I challenge anybody who wants to pick the 49ers with this offense, Christian McCaffrey notwithstanding, because it's his first game, to go and look at all of our games this year and take out the defensive points. And then you tell me how many points per game the 49ers have scored. And then you honestly have a conversation with yourself and go, is this enough to beat the Chiefs, who are averaging 29.8 points per game?
It's not good, because our defense has
that shit.
Be getting in the end zone a lot this year. Yeah. The defense has 21, 28 points. Like
I think they have 3 defensive touchdowns.
21. Right, that's one thing. So it's like people are ignoring that. You can't just keep ignoring it. Like it's a thing. Like, and if it doesn't happen, the games are way closer, or we just straight up lose. Like, it's not a good thing. We've got 3 wins and 3 defensive touchdowns.
Billy says, we lost last week. How come we can't be pissed off? Because their quarterback is Patrick Mahomes and ours is Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's as simple as that.
And also because Kyle loses games back to back. Andy Reid does not do that with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
he hasn't done it.
And we're more beat up. We're more beat up.
By the way, the 49ers, even including the defensive touchdowns, because it's just pure points per game, with the defensive touchdowns, the 49ers are 20th in the NFL in points per game.
Gross. This is a good question.
Against number 1.
John says,
with the beat-up secondary.
If we beat the Chiefs, are we the favorites to win the NFC over the Eagles?
Yes, because what they're going to do is start looking at the schedule. They're going to look at the teams that were played. I know the Eagles are 6-0 right now, but the 6 victories are against teams that it's going to sound funny, but teams that we basically lost to. Yeah. They haven't played anyone tough. Our losses are against bad teams. But they're going to start looking at things like that, and the odds will change drastically. If you guys think the Niners have a shot at winning the Super Bowl, bet now, because if we beat the Chiefs, your odds are going to change in the worst way possible for you.
They already have with the Christian McCaffrey trade.
Yeah. Once we got Seams, yes, they changed a lot once we made that trade. I'm telling you, if we happen to beat the Chiefs, it's going to be even worse. The Niners are going to have some dumbass stat like 4-1, and it's not going to be worth you betting. So now's the time to absolutely do it.
And I will say this, this is something that I haven't had a chance to talk about, but it's something that I've been thinking about for the last, probably for the entire season, just watching the growth of Jalen Hurts. And people talk about Trey Lance and say, oh, Josh Allen is the blueprint. I actually think Jalen Hurts is more the blueprint for how we should develop Trey Lance. And it's a more realistic blueprint. I think that what Jalen Hurts has been able to do this year has been pretty awesome. He's shown a lot of growth. And I think that that's something that, their style of offense is something that the 49ers can adopt more readily than what the Bills do with Josh Allen. Because I still think that there are some accuracy issues with Jalen Hurts that he still has. He's improving, but they use him in a way that absolutely they get him out into space. They roll him out on boot action. They do all this stuff to put him in a position to make his job easier. And I think that that's actually the route that the 49ers could go with Trey Lance when he comes back. So I've been meaning to say that, and we just haven't had an opportunity. But since the Eagles came up, I wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. And that's a really good comparison. That would be ideal for Trey Lance, the kind of trajectory to follow. All right. Let's get into our offensive MVP predictions. Mike, who are you going to start with?
I'm I'm going to go with the guy that no one is going to be focusing on, right? You got Deebo Samuel. He's going to demand a lot of coverage. You got CMC coming out there. He's going to demand a ton of coverage whenever he's out there on the field. Then there's George Kittle on National Tight End Day. I'm going to do it again. I think for the third time in a row on this show, guys. I want to go with my guy, Brandon Ayuk, as the offensive.
I mean, you were right last week taking him because he had the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yep. So, I'm going to stick with him. And it's like I said, it's because they can't focus on everyone. And he's the guy with the least amount of respect of all those guys. And I think Kyle's smart enough to take advantage of that. So my guy, Brandon Ayuk, for back-to-back MVPs.
Matt, who do you got?
All right. There's talk about him not being used a lot, but I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. I think he has a rushing and a receiving touchdown. I think that Kyle is going to want to show off his new toy. And he's not going to use him extensively, but he's going to use him in positions where Christian McCaffrey is going to make an impact on the game in his 15 to 20 snaps or whatever he gets. I think he gets 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right. I like that. For me, I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo has a big game. I think that they're going to utilize him in ways with Christian McCaffrey. Maybe they use Christian McCaffrey as a decoy since it is still his first game. Maybe not much out there. Deebo Samuel, a receiving, I should say, touchdown and a rushing touchdown. I like it. I like the odds. All right. Defensive MVP, Matt, we know who it is. Let's get it started.
He's back, baby. So my prediction is back. Nick Bosa, 3 sacks and a forced fumble. By the way, if that comes to pass and he does get 3 sacks and a forced fumble, the 49ers will win the game.
Definitely, for sure. Mike, do you want me to go?
I'm gonna go with the return of Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward back with a club on his hand, communication that's secondary, getting guys lined up the right way. I'm gonna go with my man Jimmy Ward, eliminating Travis Kelce from the game plan.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. And I think if the 49ers have anybody on this defense that is capable of doing just that, it's Jimmy Ward. For me, I'm gonna go with Fred Warner. And I know we gave him a little bit of heat last week, saying he's kind of dropped the ball ever since he got that big check. But I think this is the type of game that he shows up and proves why the 49ers paid him, proves that he still is one of the best linebackers in the NFL, proves that he's able to show up to the task of defending against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I think that this is going to be a nice Fred Warner game. Probably doesn't have an interception because Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. He does throw them, but I just don't think Fred gets one. I think he's just going to have a hell of a lot of tackles and make his impact felt. All right, we already gave our final score predictions.
He said, what's Ward going to do? Bat balls away with the cast? He can't catch interception when he has 2 hands, so it don't matter.
Unless Matt Stafford's throwing them. That's the only chance he can. All right, we're going to be wrapping things up. Mike, any final thoughts? Let the folks know where to find you. Anything you want to get out there?
Yeah, guys, the Twitter handle is right here below. It's Mike Andrews 83. You guys can follow me over there. I am not super active on Twitter, so please don't be disappointed or expect a lot of interaction from me on there. Twitter is kind of a place I go for information, not to share much and not to respond much, but the Patreon is right here as well. You guys can head on over to patreon.com/NB9ERS. And if you don't already follow the YouTube, that handle is nothing but Niners. We have it set. We couldn't get the NB9ERS handle. Someone else already has that, but you can type in NB9ERS on YouTube and we pop right up as the first response, which is kind of weird that a guy has a channel.
Somebody has that. I wonder who.
Yeah, no, I've seen it, but when you type in NB9ERS on YouTube, we pop up before him. So that's kind of insulting, but I appreciate it. So you guys can head on over there. Nothing but Niners or NB9ERS on YouTube as well. We got you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know it's late. I know the show went a little long this Saturday night. We appreciate all of you. Like I said, we'll be live following Kyle Shanahan's press conference tomorrow after the game. Come back. Come join us. We appreciate all you guys being here. Hopefully the 49ers prove all of us wrong and whoop the Chiefs' ass. I've had a couple too many. I can't even speak correctly. Matt, before I say something stupid, please carry us out.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm actually excited just because, Christian McCaffrey's in town. I want to see what they do. And I really do hope that they prove us wrong. I've had enough losing. Obviously, the baseball game didn't go my way. I'm hoping football's a little bit better along with game 5 tomorrow. So with that being said, thanks, Mike, for joining us. Zach, great job hosting as always. And until next time, go Niners.